Welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. Ashton Washington, Coach A, is going to be visiting with us. She is the Director of High School Relations for the University of Illinois football team. Coach A, welcome to the program.
Jake, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on.
Hey, we are very excited to have you. Well, as you know, the life of an AD, the life of a coach is very busy, so we're going to jump right into it. We always like to let our listeners get to know our guests. So tell us, if you will, a little bit about your background, growing up, college, and how that led to your first job in athletics.
Okay, so grew up Houston, Texas. Went to Fort Bend Travis High School, graduated in 2015, played basketball all 4 years, so freshman on varsity. And then from there, I got a partial scholarship to Houston-Tillotson University, a small private university in Austin, Texas, to the capital. It's literally, how I put it, University of Texas right here, and across I-35. If you've been to Austin, my little private school right here. Was there all 4 years. So from the partial scholarship, ended up getting an academic full ride. So I kind of basically went where the money was. So I took that academic full ride and just pressed on. Graduated last year, May 2019. But during that tenure of college, I was working with Rivals.com. I was working for 24/7 Sports. And with 24/7 Sports, it gave me an opportunity not to just scout players here in Texas or be on camera, off camera, jack of all trades, but it gave me an opportunity to travel across the nation. So I got to meet even more high school coaches, even more players, different things like that. So I guess you could say that played a part into where we are now. Before getting to where we are now, I got a job with the XFL, Houston Roughnecks. I like to say the best team in the league. We were preparing for April 26th, the championship, but as you know, COVID-19 hit, and here we are, right? I like to say the pandemic is a blessing in disguise. I don't know if the pandemic, if it never would have hit, would I be here right now? Eventually, but not, I don't think, right now. With that being said, I'm currently at the University of Illinois, like you said, with Coach Lovie Smith as the Director of High School Relations. And yeah, I guess all of those kind of roles played a part into where we are.
Let's talk a little bit about the path from your time as a college undergraduate working with Rivals to your position with the XFL, and how that blossomed into your current position. We talk always about the importance of networking and connections. So kind of tell the story about how that all developed for you.
Oh man, I got to go back to the in-person LinkedIn. We're all on LinkedIn, social media, different things like that. But it's a little bit different when you become face-to-face with someone, or, since we're in the new normal, Zoom. So, just bringing in that extra connection piece, meeting people. So I think that played a part into where I am now with the University of Illinois. The Director of High School Relations before me, he was actually a coach at North Shore High School in Houston. So while I was, grinding with 24/7 Sports, and he was grinding at North Shore, winning state championship titles, that became a mentor-mentee relationship. And then from there, he ended up getting the job at Illinois. Me not knowing, and then still being, I guess you could say, that annoying intern type deal. I was probably like, I'd say 19, 20. I was probably annoying, but I was shocked he was, actually responding to me and, answering any question I ever had. But like I said, got that job at Illinois. I kept that relationship going, didn't leave it on him to keep that relationship going. I put in that extra effort. He introduced the Director of Recruiting, which is still with me right now, Patrick Embleton, or Coach Patrick Embleton. And from there, kept that relationship going as well. Coach Price, which is the coach that had my job before me, he actually got a job at UTSA. So now he's back in Texas, back home, Director of Player Personnel. Still, like I said, keeping that connection going. And then Director of Recruiting, Patrick Embleton, he's still with me. But during the pandemic, right, so lose my job at the XFL, I get a text from Pat. He's like, "Hey, Ash," he's like, email me your resume. And for me, a lot of my in-person LinkedIn, they were reaching out to me because I was really swimming, you know what I mean? Swimming to get to this next gig or find this next job or figure out what I'm about to do next. You know what I mean? So going through that, and, me not thinking about it, email my resume to, I'd say, a whole bunch of people, just shooting it out. You know what I mean? Just not giving up. About 3 weeks later, I get an email about a one-on-one Zoom call with Coach Lovie Smith, right? And I'm like, wait, whoa, okay. You know what I mean? Again, not thinking anything of it. I'm like, this is probably just another connection that I can meet, get to know, things like that. Ended up being an interview for the director of high school relations. And I guess you could say I left a good impression because here we are.
Well, I think the takeaway for me is, you said it, that you had a connection, but you kept that alive. You continue to
Yep.
reach out and develop and nurture those relationships. And I think that's just such an important lesson for a young AD. It's not, you're not being pushy, you're not being nosy. Of course, you have to be professional, but it's kind of on you to keep that going. Let's talk about recruiting. Florida, where I'm at, obviously a big high school football state, as is Texas. What are some things, and again, many athletic directors, I was a football coach for many, many years. Some ADs are still football coaches or basketball coaches. What are some things that the AD, that the coach can do to make it a better experience for everyone as far as recruiting? What can they do that's going to make your job easier? What can they do to help promote their own student athletes?
So it goes back to even before the pandemic. Let's say this social media, right? I guess setting your program up for success on social media. So actually investing time in, I guess you can say, marketing your team, right? Whether you're a winning state championship team or whether you're just 5-0. I mean, not 5-0 or 0-5, different things like that. And just marketing your team, because it's all about what it's now. It's all about marketing the team. Who has the best social media presence, right? I know a lot of kids, they want to do the fancy hype videos and things like that, but that's just kind of the stage we're in. So just being prepared just to invest into your social media. I think another thing for me on my side would be, having those prospect sheets ready, those Excel sheets with all the prospects, with the huddle films, GPAs, SAT, ACT. I know it's a little different right now as far as test scores because we're in the kind of limbo situation on what we're going to do with those. But just having those Excel sheet ready. I think another thing that plays a part into that would pretty much, have the transcripts ready. Because right now for me, it's Zoom calls. And the first thing we're asking for is huddle and transcript. You know what I mean? So the programs that have those transcripts or have those connections with their counselors already, it makes our job so much easier. So I think those would probably be the top three, right? So social media, Excel sheet with your prospects on it, and then 3, great relationships with your counselors and having transcripts ready at all times.
As a Division I program, obviously, you're targeting a very narrow group of student athletes. And I know you're new to this current position, but how many student athletes, say in your target range, end up having academic issues? My point is, are the high schools doing a better job? Are the kids doing a better job of getting their academics together? Or are we still seeing, kids that are struggling to make minimal eligibility?
So for us, it's a little bit different. So top 14 public university pretty much in the world, right? So we have to go for the best, but then again, you still got to be able to be a Division I Big Ten athlete. So it makes it a little bit difficult, but you find those diamonds or those uncovered gems here and there. So for us, you got to have a 3.0, 3.5 GPA range just to start with. So for us, like I said, we see the film, but then we're asking for that transcript because we don't want to offer a kid and they can't even get into our program, right? It's just a waste of an offer. And so for us, we're a little bit different than most programs. We don't hand out 150 offers, just to hand out. When you get an offer from us or from the University of Illinois or from Coach Lovie Smith, that offer means a lot. You know what I mean? So that offer that we're given is a committable offer. So you'll never be able to call us and be like, hey, coach, I'm ready to commit. And we say no or turn you down. You know what I mean? So it means a lot coming from us.
And that's a very good point. Again, I did some college coaching back in the 90s, NAIA schools, and that whole chase of making the offer and waiting for the student to commit. I'm going to put you on the spot. The point that you just made was very good. When you get an offer from Illinois, that's good, that's solid. But for a kid who's being recruited by some other schools in the Big Ten who we won't mention. What is your best sales pitch? Why should that young student athlete, boy or girl, come to the
Okay.
University of Illinois?
Well, me, I'm gonna be biased. I'm a recruit from the football perspective. You ready? So
Okay, go
one,
for it.
we have, I'd say we have the best facilities in the country. Coach Lovie Smith, I'm gonna just keep bringing it back to him. Coach Smith went around the country and he looked at every top facility and he took every part from each facility and put it in our facility. And then he based our facility on our coaching staff, right? So it's not many facilities that are built for that head coach, right? So I think that's the best part about us. Our facilities, I said we're the top 14 public school in the nation. So when you leave Illinois, you will have a job, right? So they're paying $65,000 and up when you leave Illinois. So that's guaranteed. So, if you go to the league, I said, if you have that God-given ability to go to the league and you leave the league, you still have a job. Like, there's not too many universities that can say that. And then look, last but not least, our alumni base is one of the biggest in the country. Yes, the Big Ten alumni base is huge, but just Illinois in that Big Ten alumni base is unbelievable. So look, why not Illinois? You know what I mean? And then of course I'm there, so why not Illinois?
I'm ready, Coach. Where's my offer? Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, I need those transcripts. Don't forget, I need the transcripts.
Okay. Only injuries and a lack of talent kept me from going Division I. Okay. One more Big Ten question.
Okay.
Announcement just came out recently about the decision to only play conference football games. What's been the fallout, the feedback, the buzz in your area since that announcement?
Since that announcement, I guess you can say it's been pretty positive because everybody's been waiting. When is football going to be back? Sports, yeah, but most importantly, when is football coming back? Everybody wants to play football. Everybody wants to watch football. Everybody wants to coach football, right? So for us, it's hard on us and it's hard on our players because we're like, this is a time for us to be working, getting our things done. So I think right now, positive as of now, but we'll keep our ears to the streets and keep listening and see what happens.
Let's talk a little bit about, careers. Again, you're just starting out, which I think is great. Many of our guests, they've been, athletic directors for a number of years, and they're maybe looking back. This question is kind of looking forward. You've gone from rivals. You had the game day ops position, which is not a throwaway position. That is a very big position. And now you're working with high school recruiting, high school relations. Where do you see yourself? Where do you like to maybe see yourself, in 5 years or even 10 years down the road? Are you looking to become an on-field coach, a position coach? Are you looking to move in a different direction? What are some of your career plans that our listeners can learn from?
So right now, I know a lot of listeners are going to be like, shame on you, but I haven't thought out since I've got this position. I have not thought outside of Illinois football. Like I go to sleep thinking about Illinois football. So if I can, answer that question, I'd say in 5 years, still at Illinois, maybe in this position, maybe not, you know what I mean? But I'd see myself still here.
Okay. And again, that's no shame on you. It's, I think it's a good balance of, hey, your best job is the one you got right now. Okay.
Yeah, be the best at where you are right now.
Yeah.
Whether you're a graduate assistant, anything, just be the best where you are right now. And look, I got that I got that good advice from Coach Franklin at Penn State.
Let's talk a little bit about the national scene. COVID, certainly has had an impact going all the way back to March and the cancellation of spring sports throughout the country. And what we've seen so far is that there is no consistent plan from state to state, and even within certain states. In Florida, the High School Association does not control summer activities, and so it's up to the individual school, the individual school district, what they do with conditioning. The only restriction is, of course, you can't wear football gear. Other states, just to the north of us, Georgia, their state association has a very regimented schedule. You can do this during this week, you can do this during this period. This is a dead period. You can't do anything. So there is no consistent pattern. What's going on right now at the University of Illinois with your student athletes? What are they doing? And maybe what safety protocols have you all put in place to make sure they can continue to do that?
So for us, I feel like we have one of the best protocols going on. Testing each week, and not too many programs can say that. So even our coaching staff is getting tested constantly. So once you're in Champaign, you're kind of locked in Champaign. We don't advise you to leave because you're pretty much, for us, you're in the safest area. If you're at home, you can't really get it tested every other day or every week. It's just not going to happen. And then with that, just keeping our protocols in check, making sure our guys wear their mask. I know a lot are, not too happy about the mask, but we got to do what we got to do, right? I see a lot of pictures on Twitter. Like, I'm going to go back to social media. You see the packed football stadiums, and then you see a mask next to it, right? So if you want this, you got to wear this. And I think, our guys are understanding that and kind of getting a hold of that. With strength and conditioning, that's our vital piece right now. So our coach Lou, he's working hard with our guys in different increments or different sets. So very small sets. And then, of course, that 6 feet comes into play. So keeping those guys 6 feet, making sure they're, sanitizing everything down. They don't take any showers on campus. You take showers back either in the hotel where you are quarantined or back into our located dorm halls, which every player is by themselves. No player can cross paths. So, that's something that we're kind of, again, turning into the new normal. Again, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but we got to do what we got to do.
You talked a little bit about, the players wearing masks. Is that on campus? Is that during workouts? What's your mask policy?
So mask policy, of course, on campus. So if you're passing somebody that's not on our football program, or you're with somebody that's on our football program, you're with a coach, you're with strength and conditioning coaches, you have a mask on, and we have a mask on as well, right? So I'm actually in Houston right now, but when I'm on Zoom calls with the coaches that are up there right now, they're in the office on Zoom with a mask. That's how, that's how I'd say that's how strict it is, or that's how strict our protocol is and what we're trying to do. Because, we want a football season. Everybody wants a football season. So we're going to do what we got to do. But far as, coming back to the sanitizing and different things like that. So when the players finish their workouts after strength and conditioning, they go into the locker room, take the clothes off, switch their clothes. Again, no showering there. And they put them in their loops, and we wash them. They come back, fresh clothes, and we keep that thing moving. And then again, in locker rooms, everybody spread out. We don't want any guys close together. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. It's very, very hard because it's not normal. None of this is normal.
It sounds like the players, again, players are going to do what coaches tell them to do for the most part. But from that recruiting angle, again, parents,
Yes.
when you're recruiting them, you kind of have to recruit the parents. Sometimes the moms got to be recruited before the kid. For the students that are on campus, how has the feedback been from their families? They see what you're doing. They feel comfortable with everything.
They do. So like I said, you're in the safest place you can possibly be. And the parents, they're a little nervous kind of sending their child back, which any parent would be, especially in a time like this. And we don't know anything really about what COVID-19 truly is. You know what I mean? So with them sending them back, and the players, calling mom and dads or aunties and uncles and telling them, how it's like on campus and what's happening, what the protocols are, they feel more reassured. You know what I mean? They feel like, okay, my son is in a good place right now. And then we feed them all day long. So they never go hungry, right? They get meals dropped off at the rooms, all of that, nutrition shakes. So it's still the same, nutrition regimen. Keep that going. But yeah, the players, they're in a good place right now.
One thing that we've talked about a little bit this summer since we started this podcast is the social situation. Things that have developed, across the country. What are some things that, again, our audience is primarily school-based athletic directors and coaches.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that we can do from your perspective better with regards to promoting positive social relations?
So one, look, I feel like it all just keeps coming back. Social media, just having your programs market how important a mask is. Whether that's the head coach hopping on a quick 30-second video and talking about the importance of a mask, and then sticking his mask on. You know what I mean? Just to show or to indicate, this is what we need to be doing. And then I think for far as coaches and advising their players, I guess in person or on Zoom calls, is letting their players know, if you're hanging out with guys who are not taking this virus seriously, do not work out with them. Don't go around them, right? Because, you might go around a player that has a fever or, feels some type of way, but he's like, oh, I'm fine, let's go. And it could be the quarterback, right? And he's throwing a pass to you. That kid catches the pass, and then boom, you're sick. You never know what might happen. So I think, just kind of being on the lookout or on guard with your own health, and help the players understand, you could be 16, 17, 18, but you still need to take care of your health. And then, of course, you got to understand, you're not just taking care of your health, but you're going back home to mom, dad, and then if you're staying with grandparents, you're going back to grandparents. So I think just coaches just reiterating that. And the kids, they're going to get irritated, and they're going to be like, oh, my goodness, we've heard this 10 million times, right? But just keep reiterating it. Keep it going. Get it into their heads until they just can't think of anything other than grabbing a mask when they leave the house.
Good stuff. Well, guys, we've just flown through this. We're at our final segment. We call this the Athletic Director's Toolbox. And again, the goal is to try to pass on some knowledge to, let's say, a young AD, maybe even a struggling athletic director, from your perspective. High school student athlete, college athlete, you've worked in communications, and now you're, at the Division I level. If you were going to put together a toolbox, for a young AD, maybe even a young coach, but you can only put 3 things in there.
Ooh,
what 3
okay.
things would go in Coach A's toolbox?
No specific order, but I'm going to say heart. So heart/passion, that's 1. So yeah, heart/passion, effort, and then I'd say authenticity. So being authentic. Those would be my 3. So we'll say heart, effort, and being authentic. That's the top 3.
Okay. And those are great. Now I'm going to do a follow-up. I told you I might do that.
I'm ready.
In your experience as a student athlete, and now as a coach, who has shown those 3 qualities in the whole package for you, and who's been that mentor, that leader for you?
Oh, this is hard. I have to pick just one person.
You can pick 2 if you want to.
Oh, that makes it even harder. Okay, so I'm gonna say, I don't want to make anybody mad, but number 1 is got to be Granny. That's my best friend, so I got to be my grandma. Number 1. Number 2, we can't make Grandpa upset, so we got to say Grandpa. But those 2, those are my solid rocks. They keep me focused. Look, right here, I'm gonna show you guys right now on camera. So there we go. Stay focused. You got that right there. So that's the key thing. But yeah, I think those 2, Granny and Grandpa.
All right. Well, again, we all know the importance of family. We're not going to be here without those family mentors. Ashton, Coach Washington, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. Appreciate all the wisdom, and guys, best of luck this year. Now I'm going to be rooting for the University of Illinois come fall.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed myself. Keep in touch, okay?
Oh, we definitely will. Listeners, thank you for listening today. Come back next week for another edition of the Educational AD. Everybody have a great day.